Well, good morning, Sun Worshipers. This is George McClellan coming to you from FetcherNews.com, North Georgia's only live internet TV talk show. We are in Ellijay, Georgia, in Gilmore County, up here in the North Georgia mountains, the southern tips of the Appalachians. And it's a beautiful day outside right now. The weather is cool, a little rainy out there, but in the forecast, but it's mostly in Atlanta. The hard rain's going through Atlanta. And we seem to be on the northern periphery of that storm that they predicted. But we got it's damp outside, and I used my windshield wipers coming in this morning. Well, my goodness, the news is full of news, isn't it? The left, what was once the former Democrat Party, there was a term used to describe those people once upon a time, and that was before Bill Clinton, before Barack Obama. There was a term to describe those people, and it was called fellow travelers. That term identified those Americans who quietly pushed the agenda of the Soviet Union, in other words, the Marxist, communist, Bolsheviks, into our lives all the time. The Soviets, and specifically Stalin, coined another term for them fellow travelers. You call them useful idiots. Useful idiots. They're out there right now. So as USSR disintegrated and is no longer available, the term fellow traveler is no longer used, but that doesn't mean their threat still isn't out there and a danger to us. We voted for a radical agenda twice, and it got swept away November the 8th. The fellow travelers, those people who constitute the communist idea, now come to us in the guise, and have for a while, the Democrat Party and the environmental green movement. And the point of the spear is the Southern Poverty Law Center and the ACLU as the legal threat, and the BLM as the pointy end of the spear. Don't be fooled, they are enemies of America, and they're enemies of our Constitution, and we must, November they solve nothing. We must be on our guard, because as we see in the news today, they are attacking everything. The pagan left is in complete disarray. They did not expect to get swept away. They lost everything with the last election, and we didn't realize how really thin their movement was. In retribution, they are now recoiling against their loss by launching attacks against the Electoral College system, our thin blue line, Christmas trees, Christmas music, nativity scenes, and Christian symbols everywhere. And that brings me to a long-loved commentator named Andy Rooney. And I run across this. I want to share Andy Rooney's, one of his essays from long ago. And I just touched it off. I don't know why I did that. Andy Rooney was one in a million. At the end of the 60-minute show with Maury Safer, both are gone now, he usually had his own 10-minute segment that unbelievably was never censored by CBS. He probably was the only one who could have gotten away with this. So here's Andy Rooney from 15 years ago. I don't think being a minority makes you a victim or of anything except numbers. The only things I can think of that are truly discriminatory are things like the United Negro College Fund, Jet Magazine, Black Entertainment Television, and Miss Black America. Try to have those things like the United Caucasian College Fund, Cloud Magazine, White Entertainment Television, or Miss White America, and see what happens. Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton will be knocking down your door. Guns do not make you a killer. I think killing makes you a killer. You can kill someone with a baseball bat or a car, but no one is trying to ban you from driving to the ball game. I believe they are called the Boy Scouts for a reason, which is why there are no girls allowed. Girls belong in the Girl Scouts. I think that if you feel homosexuality is wrong, it is not a phobia, it's an opinion. I have the right not to be tolerant of others because they are different, weird, or tick me off. When 70% of the people who get arrested are black, in cities where 70% of the population is black, that is not racial profiling. It is the law of probability. I believe that if you are selling me a milkshake, a pack of cigarettes, a newspaper, or a hotel room, you must do it in English. As a matter of fact, if you want to be an American citizen, you should have to speak English. My father and grandfather didn't die in vain, so you can leave the countries you were born in to come over here and disrespect mine. I think the police should have every right to shoot you if you threaten them after they tell you to stop. If you can't understand the word freeze or stop in English, see the lines above. I don't think just because you were not born in this country, you are qualified for any special loan programs, government-sponsored bank loans, or tax breaks, so you can open a hotel, a coffee shop, a trinket store, or some other little business. We did not go to the aid of certain foreign countries and risk our lives in wars to defend their freedoms, so that decades later they could come over here and tell us our Constitution is a living document and open to their interpretations. I don't hate the rich, I don't pity the poor. I know pro wrestling is fake, but so are movies and television, and that doesn't stop us from watching them. I think Bill Gates has every right to keep every penny he made and continue to make more. If it ticks you off, go invent the next operating system, one that's better, and put your name on the building. It doesn't take a whole village to raise a child right, but it does take a parent to stand up to the kid and smack their little behinds when necessary and say no. I think tattoos and piercings are fine if you want them, but please don't pretend they are a political statement. And please stay home until that lip ring heals. I don't want to look at your ugly, infected mouth while you're serving me French fries. I'm sick of political correctness. I know a lot of black people, and not a single one of them was born in Africa. So how can they be African Americans? Besides, Africa is a continent. I don't go around saying I'm a European American because my great-great-great-great-grandfather was from someplace in Europe. I am proud to be an American and nowhere else. And if you don't like that point of view, well, that's tough. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It is said that 86% of Americans believe in God. Therefore, I have a very hard time understanding why there is such a problem in having "In God We Trust" on our money and having God in the Pledge of Allegiance. Why don't we just tell that 14% to shut the hell up and be quiet? That was Andy Rooney from several years ago, and I hope you enjoyed that wisdom as much as I enjoyed reading it. I've read it several times. I almost have it memorized, I think. I started yesterday, I had included an essay by a fellow named Jack Perry. Jack has all but gone off the grid. He writes articles, but he lives a bohemian lifestyle in the Sonoran Desert somewhere and wants to be left alone. But basically, Jack has got a good, Jack Perry has a very good finger on what's going on. And he talks about Obama's legacy. I changed the title. I call it Obama's Wonderful Legacy. And I'm going to share some points with you on that. Obama's wonderful legacy. Should we be alarmed or concerned that Donald Trump would dismantle all of President Obama's hard-won achievements that have benefited the American people for the past 8 years? As we enter the new year, we should spend a few moments in kind reflection to recognize and applaud his accomplishments so that we do not forget them and we don't forget who supported them. That's very important. Brian brought this up, mentions it frequently. It's interesting to note that. And by the way, a news item today is very important. The Greens, the Sierra Club, and these green movements are now starting their shock is fading away. The shock of Clinton losing and Obama becoming the president is fading away, and they're now collecting money to stop Trump's promise to end the green, energy policy that Obama put in it, because it's debilitating. It's closed all the coal mines. It's stopped oil drilling. Everything that has negated our economy. So, but on foreign policy, Obama's great foreign policy achievement to bring democracy to Syria. And let me tell you, we're foolish as Americans. We are foolish to think we can bring democracy to countries who have never experienced it and have no idea what it's like. They don't know about that until they get here in America and learn what democracy is. And the word democracy is incorrect anyway. We are a constitutional republic. But we get over there and we meddle with tribes. And this tribe has been fighting that tribe. This religious set, the Sunnis, been fighting the Shiites for centuries. Do we think that because we're Americans and our government is so good that we're going to go over there and introduce them to democracy? And so it holds, it sticks? I don't think so. So anyway, it has resulted in a catastrophic war that has cost hundreds of thousands of lives. That's no small feat. Stalin starved over 1 million kulaks to death, starved them to death by taking away their farm equipment and not selling them anything in the Ukraine and in the steppes of Russia. It took nearly a decade for the Iran-Iraq war to rack up that death toll. Over almost a decade of scorpions in a bottle fighting. That was between Saddam Hussein fighting with Iran. Obama can be congratulated for helping to launch a war that will certainly be more than a mere legacy from his administration. A war like this is one parent can be proud to hand down to their children, like the war in Afghanistan, which will probably be left in the will for the next generation to fight. Obama overcame his natural reluctance to arm terrorists in Syria. Think about that. Who are the terrorists? We were assured that if background checks were needed in foreign weapons transactions, they were certainly needed here in the United States, but not in a region where all of the Syrian moderates would have been called prohibited processors. This was no easy task, since the last terrorists we armed with tow missiles took out some Israeli tanks with them. It was Obama and Clinton did that. We can appreciate that Obama had the foresight and the wisdom to arm people that he could later deny having armed, particularly after Benghazi. An easy task, since the weapons were first flown in from an Eastern European weapons dealer. We applaud Obama for creation of an army that will nip at our heels for decades. Obama assured us that what we thought were terrorist attacks in the United States were in fact not terrorist attacks at all, but merely workplace violence and gun violence. So we should take solace in the knowledge that those guns got up and perpetrated the attacks all by themselves. The cure would be more background checks, but not on overseas weapon transfers or to prohibited possessors, the Syrian moderates. Obama reassures us that America's real terrorists were in every police department in the United States. We can be grateful to Obama for having cleared up this error in semantics in our thinking. The economy and unemployment. Before I get into economy and the unemployment, I think it's time for to pay our bills. So we'll see you on the other side of these commercial notes.
Pizza Hut makes great pizza, but they can't tell you what a gift it is. I can. They took a grilled cheese and combined it with stuffed crust pizza. To think, I almost wasn't here to try it.
How did you?
It's not important, Jen. What's important is that I watched the sunrise this morning. Then I got to stand in a room filled with this pizza. And later I'll stare at the ocean. Or maybe I'll learn Russian. Or listen to jazz. Or try my hand at needlework. Or open a door for a beautiful woman. Or read a human interest story, or make dessert wine. Or ride a wild horse. Or experiment with watercolors. Eat every slice like it's your last. Especially you, Doug. Especially Doug, right? You care about Doug. The grilled cheese stuffed crust pizza. Proof that no one outpieces the Hut.
Circuit World, brand name merchandise at unbelievably low prices. Furniture, appliances, and electronics. Circuit World is locally owned and operated, serving the tri-state area. Circuit World has highly trained professionals to help. Visit your hometown Circuit World today. 3 locations in Georgia: Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and Blairsville, Franklin, and Murphy, North Carolina. No credit checks, so let Circuit World deliver to you today.
El Rey and Ellijay.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated, and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine.
El Rey.
El Rey and Ellijay.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
When Days Chevrolet in Jasper gives thanks, we give big. With over 20% off MSRP on remaining 2016 models and savings up to $10,000. New Silverado Crew Cabs from just $31,900. Or get 20% off MSRP plus days discounts on 2016 Malibus. Now just $18,900. Save up to $10,000 off MSRP today at Days Chevrolet in Jasper.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
I'm Sheriff Dane Kirby, and I'll stand up for you.
I'm Stacy Nicholson, Sheriff of Gilmer County, and I will stand up for you.
Stand up and speak out. No matter how rich, cool, talented you believe yourself to be, how you treat people ultimately tells all. I am Allison Sosby, District Attorney, and I'll stand up for you.
Pizza Hut makes the best pizza in the entire universe, but they won't tell you that. I've been marooned on this planet for a while now. You are an impressive race. Your children know excellent hiding places. Your oceans aren't filled with lava. And you figured out how to combine a grilled cheese sandwich with a Pizza Hut pizza. Surely interstellar travel will soon follow. And then I can finally get back home. Round. Round like home. The grilled cheese stuffed crust pizza. Proof that no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Well, welcome back, fun lovers. This is George McClellan at FYN TV, North Georgia's only live online internet TV talk show. I can be reached at 706-889-9700 if you want to say something or comment on something I've said or get into an argument. So there we are. We were talking about Obama's legacy, whatever that is, and we ended with the economy. Let's see what the business experienced Obama has done for our economy. He's made it grow. Would you believe that? He's made it grow again and again and again. It reminds me of that old joke, it's easy to stop smoking. I've done it hundreds of times. Well, let's see. He has industries, oh yes, great industries like pawn shops, payday loan clinics, auto title loan establishment, rent-to-own centers, and credit collection agencies. They're absolutely just proliferating with employment opportunities for people. Obama helped get Americans barely able to pay their rent, spending money they didn't have by flooding their mailboxes with pre-approved high-interest credit card offers. Well, that's no easy task. Obama is to be applauded for stocking display cases at pawn shops and fostering a plethora of for sale signs in front of homes in neighborhoods all across America. Thank you, Obama, for bringing quiet neighborhoods back to America once more, even if no one lives in them anymore. Well, that's not exactly true. If it's set there abandoned, it'll soon quickly be filled up by hoodlums selling drugs. And so the quiet neighborhood will suddenly turn into little districts of crime. He should be credited, Obama, should be credited for creating a nation of around 320 million people, hundreds of jobs in India for coveted customer service call centers. And now we are again staffing Anthill-like call centers with flexible schedule positions that provide much needed jobs for Americans to make payments to payday loan chains and all the pre-approved credit cards that went out like flyers from supermarkets. I have had some dealings with my publisher. My publisher's official address is in Indiana. And I get calls from them trying to make money. They're trying to make money, and they're trying to make money off of me spending money, trying to sell my little book, which my book will never hit the big time, simply because it's a biography. Nobody reads biographies, anything I've done. Anyway, the calls all come from voices I recognize, Filipinos. And they're coming from Cebu. Can you believe a publisher in Indiana, their calls are coming from Cebu in the Visayan group of the Philippine Islands. I lived in the Philippines. I've been to Cebu at least twice, and not for just a day visit, but for work. So I'm pretty familiar with a lot of that area around Cebu, the city of Cebu, Mactan Island. But these wonderful English-speaking young ladies, or a couple of gentlemen, as a matter of fact, have called me and they follow a script. And my sworn job is to get them off their script, but they're getting paid for a job that can be done in Indiana. I think old Cole over here could answer telephones and read a script and do it for as cheap as they do. Anyway, back to thank you, Obama, for the great careers in sandwich assembly shops, sign twirling, espresso slinging, handbill distribution, door greeting, grocery bagging, and errand running career positions throughout our country. A tip of our silly management mandated company hats to you. What has he done with health care? Obama's signature accomplishment is the great health care plan of Obamacare, also known as the ADA. I call it the ADA is the Affordable Care Act. I call it the Unaffordable Care Act because it's unaffordable and you get no care. The Unaffordable No Care Act. They said it couldn't be done, Mr. President, and yet you did it. They said no one could screw up American health care any more than it has already been screwed up, but you proved them wrong, sir. You proved them wrong. How can we ever thank you? You didn't drive up premiums. You have driven up premiums. You have caused insurers to pull out of entire states. You have forced people to buy insurance they don't want, don't need, and won't be able to afford anyway because of the rising premiums and the high cost of their deductibles. You did this brilliantly. Through the mandatory law, we must have health insurance or pay a fine. Mr. President, it usually takes a dictator to accomplish something like that, but you and your party, you certainly proved us wrong. How can we ever thank the Democrat Party, but especially you, Mr. Obama, for such a brilliant health care scheme that makes the old Soviet Union's and Cuba's health systems models of efficiency? Terrorism. What about terrorism? What is Obama's legacy on terrorism? And you'll notice too, when I read these things, I never put Obama and president together in a single sentence. They do not go together. There is Obama and there is the presidency, and he ain't it. Obama's war on terrorism has worked so well. Terrorist attacks in Europe that dwarf the Munich Olympics massacre in 1972 continue apace. The tactic was, let's fight them over here and over there, but don't call them terrorists so we don't hurt anybody's feelings, unless they be offended. The need to protect feelings was a brilliant move because we know that terrorists begin as a self-esteem issue. Indeed, the tactics of paying people to fight the government, fighting the terrorists, will be a tactic they'll have to rewrite. Clausewitz, remember Clausewitz? If you don't know Clausewitz, every soldier reads and studies two foreign authors, Clausewitz and Sun Tzu, the Chinese. They have got the principle of battle down, and everybody studies these people. And opposing the government's fighting the terrorists, why, Obama, you must have lifted page right out of the Fighting Terrorism for Dummies book. We applaud your low-budget Pericles approach. If you don't know who Pericles is, I'm not going to explain it to you, but he's a character of Greek history. What other great accomplishments has Obama done? No doubt. I don't have time to bring them up right now. We know. He's on his way out. He was on, I think Brian mentioned today, he was on the comedy show last night, and he made the most outrageous statement I've ever heard. He's saying that we're still racist, we still are into slavery, and we're still into Jim Crow. Does anybody know Jim Crow? Have you ever heard of the Jim Crow line? The Jim Crow line, it was like the line that separated the North from the South. If you were north of the Jim Crow line, Maryland, Baltimore was in the South. And if you were north of the Jim Crow, you were a Yankee. If you were south, you was a Confederate or a rebel, or however they wanted to describe you at the time. We ended. Tomorrow's Wednesday, but and I will probably go more into intelligence. But I wanted this CIA business going on right now. The CIA said this, the FBI said this concerning the Russian hacking. Julian Assange hacked all those emails. The Russians didn't do it. Julian Assange did it, and the Democrat Party is trying to steal his thunder. He tells you, I did it. The Russians didn't do it. I did it. Julian Assange did it with his WikiLeaks. That's what WikiLeaks is. That's not a Russian word. That's his program. And no matter whether you like it or not, the fact is that it was done, and he has done it. Not since Colby have we had someone in charge of the CIA who actually runs operations and recruited sources. The results show Congressman Pompeo, and that's Trump's choice to run the CIA, may be an honorable man and one dedicated to national defense, and I believe that he is. The real question now is who will run the Directorate of Operations for him. Very important. Who is going to run the Directorate of Operations? In other words, who will Trump select, or Pompeo, to help right the ship? The character who is now the director of the CIA, Brennan, was a CIA station chief in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Guess what he is? He converted to Islam. He's a bloody Muslim. And he's running our CIA. That's like putting the fox in the hen house. You cannot be a Muslim and a representative democratic republic at the same time. The two don't go together. If we are serious about fixing human intelligence, that person needs to have three defining characteristics: detailed knowledge of the world of espionage, a commitment to meaningful reform, and the guts to do it, and the guts to do what is necessary to carry out that reform. I enjoyed my few forays into the world of counter-espionage. It was 20 years worth, actually, and we got a lot accomplished as counterintelligence agents when I was with the NCIS. It was NIS. And our job was to protect the Navy and the Marine Corps. And we did it under the auspices of the Uniform Code of Military Justice and laws. But we weren't spies. That was the CIA's job and the DIA's job. We were counterintelligence. So anyway, Jason Bourne. I like to watch Jason Bourne because it's so fictionally untrue as to be unbelievable. But they bring out things that touch on reality, and that it's like telling a joke. If you tell a joke and it has an element of truth in it, then it's really funny because people know that you're joking about something that's real. Every Jason Bourne movie has an obligatory scene where some senior intelligence officer stands in the midst of a vast operations center, directing the movement of individual surveillance thousands of miles away. Ops don't work like that. They simply do not. That's great for Jason Bourne, but you cannot stand in front of a TV set and direct your operation in New York or Washington, D.C. to tap into the TV cameras at Paddington Station in London, England. At least you can't do it instantly or even a few minutes. It's just not done. It's just not done. Electronics is the high priest of false security. All you got to do is unplug a machine and everything goes down. Look how often we have problems with the feed from the CityLink to our little devices. I get infuriated sometimes listening to shows and then it just goes off for some damn reason. I got to refind it and go back and connect. Well, it's nonsense. Image courtesy of Universal Studios. This was interesting. Operations, and they call it ops, SecOps, security operations, succeed when relative handfuls of the right men and women are free to move and create on the ground as they see fit. One of the reasons I enjoyed working for the NIS is they had, here's your cases, go get them. And I would turn in my work if it needed, and it was always reviewed, of course, by a supervisor, but he wasn't there telling me how to do my case unless he detected that I didn't know how to do it or I was in trouble, couldn't understand. He'd give you guidance, and then you would go on to finish your case. And we developed individually as special agents. We worked alone. If you was a special agent afloat, working on an aircraft carrier, or in a battalion landing team, one of those small Jeep carriers that have Marines aboard, you work by yourself. And you damn well better know your job. The criminal end of it, the counterintelligence end of it, the security end of it, you have to know your job. And there's no excuse. You were hired, you were taught, and and they hired you on the basis that you could work alone anyway. That's one of the important things. So I'm being signaled that it's time for another quick break. So we'll see you on the other side and continue this interesting conversation.
Pizza Hut makes great pizza, but they can't tell you what a gift it is. I can. They took a grilled cheese and combined it with stuffed crust pizza. To think, I almost wasn't here to try it.
How did you?
It's not important, Jan. What's important is that I watched the sunrise this morning. Then I got to stand in a room filled with this pizza. And later I'll stare at the ocean. Or maybe I'll learn Russian. Or listen to jazz. Or try my hand at needlework. Or open a door for a beautiful woman. Or read a human interest story or make dessert wine. Or ride a wild horse. Or experiment with watercolors. Eat every slice like it's your last. Especially you, Doug. Especially Doug, right? You care about Doug. The grilled cheese stuffed crust pizza. Proof that no one outpieces the Hut.
Circuit World, brand name merchandise at unbelievably low prices. Furniture, appliances, and electronics. Circuit World is locally owned and operated, serving the tri-state area. Circuit World has highly trained professionals to help. Visit your hometown Circuit World today. 3 locations in Georgia, Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and Blairsville, Franklin, and Murphy, North Carolina. No credit checks, so let Circuit World deliver to you today.
El Rey and Ellijay.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey and Ellijay.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Days ahead.
When Day Chevrolet in Jasper gives thanks, we give big. With over 20% off MSRP on remaining 2016 models and savings up to $10,000. New Silverado Crew Cabs from just $31,900. Or get 20% off MSRP plus days discounts on 2016 Malibus. Now just $18,900. Save up to $10,000 off MSRP today at Day Chevrolet in Jasper.
Better days ahead. Day Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
I'm Sheriff Dane Kirby, and I'll stand up for you.
I'm Stacy Nicholson, Sheriff of Gilbert County, and I will stand up for you.
Stand up and speak out. No matter how rich, cool, talented you believe yourself to be, how you treat people ultimately tells all. I am Allison Sosby, District Attorney, and I'll stand up for you.
Pizza Hut makes the best pizza in the entire universe, but they won't tell you that. I've been marooned on this planet for a while now. You are an impressive race. Your children know excellent hiding places. Your oceans aren't filled with lava. And you figured out how to combine a grilled cheese sandwich with a Pizza Hut pizza. Surely interstellar travel will soon follow. And then I can finally get back home. Round. Round like home. The grilled cheese stuffed crust pizza. Proof that no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Well, greetings. We're back for our last segment of Tuesday's Hour. I'm George McClellan on FetcherNews.com, Fetcher News TV, North Georgia's only live internet TV talk show. If you want to call me, I'm 706-889-5825. We were talking about intelligence and running things. This is very interesting. And I said that operations succeed when relative handfuls of the right men and women are free to move and create on the ground as they see fit. And you have to be flexible. You have to think on your feet. You have to be able to adjust, overcome, and persevere. Lovely line from Clint Eastwood movie. Now, it seems in 1943, I'll give you an example. In 1943, in Albania, during World War II, the desire to monitor and control everything on the ground meant adding a general, a massive radio transmitter, and a staff to the equation. What happened? It was a group of Brits who went into Albania, set up a very quiet clandestine spy ring, had a small operation. They got their messages through. It was so successful. It was so successful that the larger picture figured they had to, they could make it better. So they actually sent a general officer over there with a big radio and in charge. They even created a headquarters, and then they started making decisions for the operators in the field. It did not take long for the Russians and the Albanians to figure this one out and close it down. Everybody went to jail, and including the general. They got locked up and sent away. So I can remember working one time, another agency that irks, a very good agency, the Bureau, wonderful people in it, it's very good. How come you rarely see a retired FBI agent, but you see a lot of former FBI agents? Well, I think it's mostly because these guys, as good as they are, they cannot abide meddling by supervisors in their cases, and particularly supervisors who are on a fast track to management haven't got the field experience. A lot of them have field experience, but not extensive. And if you haven't arrested somebody, if you haven't done a murder or investigation or got involved with espionage, or where you spend hours and hours in surveillances, listening to radio conversations, and as used to be done, telephone conversations, these things are absolutely important to creating the background, the knowledge that the agent has. If you don't have that, all you can do is second guess from what you read in a book, from what you have read in a book. And that's not very good. That doesn't work at all. So anyway, we have gone through that. Another story comes to my mind. We were waiting to arrest some people for a drug case that was taking place on a naval base. The FBI was involved, ATF was involved because it was a large drug operation. I will not give any further details on that. And I was assigned with a bureau agent because these guys were known to be armed and dangerous, and they had a safe house in an apartment building, and an old hotel rather, not an outdoor entrance, but you have to go through hallways. And we were hiding, and he was hiding, the FBI agent with his shotgun was hiding in the broom closet, looking right down the hallway at the door. And he had to go to the loo. Now, my supervisor said, listen, go to the loo first, get that over with, but if you have to go. All right, we'll cover for you. The FBI guy, he had to call his supervisor and get permission. Had to get permission. Okay, fair enough. That's how their agency works, and I think guys leave because they don't like that close supervision. Okay, it's time for my final thoughts, and we're going to have that now. I have written and published to the internet this short take. Trump presses on. Well, are we having fun yet? The Democrat Party has all been done away with, and now it's the GOP elite's turn. If they don't get Trump first, mind you, they're trying to get Trump first. The Freedom Caucus of 40-plus Tea Party Republicans are turning their eyes towards the corrupt mess that still exists within the ranks of the GOP. It has been 18 months since the departure of John Bonner as Speaker and installation of Representative Paul Ryan as his replacement. The turmoil among hopefuls jockeying for political sainthood, combined with the long and tedious campaign to accumulate that power, gave Speaker Ryan some breathing room, about 18 months, to attempt to mold the House Republicans into a polyglot machine to maintain the status quo. And they haven't learned a damn thing. Naturally, not one of the elites, the GOP elites, not one, especially those with the deep connections inside the Beltway, thought for a moment that Donald Trump stood a chance of winning the primary, the Republican primary, let alone the general election. Immediately he did, all was in disarray, and like a 7.0 earthquake, the political landscape was permanently altered, and the upheaval became a wonderful sight to behold. We're out here grinning ear to ear. Trump's GOP enemies, themselves reeling in confusion and stunned disbelief, quickly abandoned their own pledge to support the Republican nominee, the very same pledge they attempted to extract from an unwilling Donald Trump. Speaker Ryan, a confirmed elitist, waited until too late to endorse Trump, and his credibility as a supporter is now suspect. His term as Speaker may end sooner than he thinks. But not to worry, Trump is doing what successful businessmen do. He's moving on without Ryan and without the GOP. It is now the Freedom Caucus's turn to help Trump make America great again, and they know it, but they have very little time left to act because the evil forces, the dark forces of the Democrat Party are already starting to muster against them. Their first problem, the House failure under Ryan to pursue impeachment against IRS Director Koskinen. And that has stirred their ire and suggests that GOP leadership is nothing more but a continuation of Bonner's inept leadership by finding reasons for not doing what Americans want and need, a full accounting of the federal government, and their criminal machine under Obama and Clinton, and flushing those creatures out and into prison. Already the House leadership talks of delaying the repeal of Obamacare for 1, 2, or maybe 3 years. This will not do, and one suspects for Donald Trump, it won't do either. Syndicated columnist Ann Coulter, the only media type who was prescient enough to predict in advance that Trump would be president, now complains that Trump's nominees aren't different enough from what could have been expected from Jeb Bush. She may be right. Well, she is often right. However, we must recognize that Trump is not yet president. Obama still is. And so it would be churlish not to speak kindly of the outgoing regime, no matter how loathsome it is. For the elites who can't believe that Trump is ignoring them and their Republican platform, it's time for a mind reset. Trump's choices for Secretary of Labor, Andy Puzder, and Director of the EPA, Scott Pruitt, makes an important step in confirming to Americans his promise to drain the swamp. Finally, the fake news about the Russians hacking the DNC and the RNC emails has generated a phony media organized storm, the purpose of which is to undo Trump's election. The geriatric Senator McCain and Senator Lindsey Graham were joined by Mitch McConnell to request an investigation into alleged Russian hacking. That's a storm in a teacup and nothing more. They cannot abide a Trump presidency, and the left can't believe that they were rejected. You want to talk about bipartisanship? It's the elite Republicans and the cast-off Democrats who are trying together to destroy the Trump presidency even before it gets started. So what to do? That's to discredit him even before he takes his oath of office. So remember, the freedom is the goal, and the Constitution is the way. Now go get them. I have a minute or two left, and we'll go over a couple of more little notes here that that seem important. McConnell's treachery. Mitch McConnell has bolstered attempts to delegitimize President-elect Trump, I just mentioned that, by backing calls for a congressional probe into Russia's hacking-related activities. Well, nothing will come for that because the Congress is now in recess for their Christmas recess, or they soon will be. The January will be here before the new Congress reassembles, and January the 20th will be here faster than that, and that's the end of that. So why they're even talking about it is beyond me. McConnell's support is an attempt to delegitimize President-elect Trump's win. First, it was the recount nonsense. Then it was a discussion of the popular vote. We can't touch with that. We can't screw with the popular vote. It's popular, and it's on the left coast. We cannot screw with the electoral vote. That's what I mean to say. Now it's a discussion about a report from anonymous U.S. intelligence officials. Obviously, our foreign leaders, our foreign intelligence officials, think that any breach of our cybersecurity measures is disturbing and strongly recommend investigations to curb such efforts, according to McConnell. And I have reached the end of my hour. I'll be back here tomorrow at 10 o'clock. If you have anything you'd like to say, or you line it up, make some notes, and give me a call tomorrow. I'm George McClellan, and good luck.